Hi guys, it's Lee from Jessops Academy, and today I'm joined by Tony. Those of you that watch our YouTube channel will know that Tony is the guy behind the camera all the time, creating some wonderful stuff. Um, February last year was the very first time that myself and Tony had worked together, although we'd been around the company for a little while. We were approached by the company and Panasonic to go on a very, very special trip, and it was one that neither of us were ever going to say no to. It's definitely right, we weren't going to say no to that at all, were we, mate? So
No, never going to say no.
so that trip was a fantastic opportunity to go over to Iceland to go and make a series of films and take some photographs using the brand new Panasonic S1 and S1r models, which are their full frame cameras. I mean, mate, we'd been around the company for kind of 5 years, sort of thing, hadn't we? Individually, sort of thing, but only met, I want to say, a week before we went, when we got the kit for 10 minutes to go and get the kit from the office, sort of thing, and then the next time we met, we had a conversation over the phone about what we were going to do, and then we met at Heathrow Airport. That was the next meeting, and we were off to Iceland.
Yeah, very early morning start, wasn't it?
Yeah, what time was our flight? Our flight was at 9, which meant being there for 6, I think, didn't it? So we had Mike with us as well, who worked with us at the time. Sadly, he's no longer with us company wise, but we had a great time, the three of us, So it was great.
Brilliant experience. But yeah, as you say, first time we'd worked together. First time, I think it was only maybe the third film that I'd helped make.
For Jessops, yeah.
For Jessops. Yeah. For Jessops, obviously I'd done a fair few before that, but specifically for Jessops. So it was a good trip to go on. But yeah, an amazing place to go to. You were lucky enough you've been there before, though, weren't you? So you kind of had a bit more idea of what to expect, whereas me and Mike were a bit sort of like gobsmacked, I think, when we arrived.
It's a breathtaking place, and when you first see it, even when you're coming over in the airplane sort of thing, you're looking at the window at the kind of landscape. It really does look very prehistoric, sort of thing. Obviously, you've got the mixing with a bit of human life sort of thing. So, but yeah, it does look very prehistoric when you're coming across on the airplane. Then when you get down and you land and you're kind of driving across to your accommodation in your car, sort of thing, it's mind blowing. You can't help but look all around the place. Doesn't matter how many times you go. I think it has the same effect each time. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Because you've been both in the winter and in the spring.
Summertime. Summertime I've been before. It's very different in the winter. For a start, the what's called the F roads. We had a lot of fun down an F road. We'll tell you about that later. But yeah, going down the F roads in the winter is scary. It's a big no-no, really. For those of you that don't know what they are, they're basically just a dirt track with some gravel thrown on the top. Rather than the lovely, nice, smooth tarmac, the F roads are not the ones in the winter at all.
So when we arrived, we had a 2-hour drive to our Airbnb, which was a really nice little place, wasn't it? And that was the first time for me seeing that landscape. I mean, you're driving on that, a modern dual carriageway style road, 2-lane, 4-lane road, and yet either side of you is just sort of boulders, snow, mountain. It's just nothing. And then you go through a sort of a small town, and then back out of it again, and it's just sort of like the vastness of the landscape. It's nothing. I can't think of any landscape that I'd seen apart from maybe sort of being up in the Arctic Circle of Finland or somewhere like that, and even that doesn't come close to the sort of the landscape of Iceland. It's so different. It's so strange.
Yeah, it is. It's still quite a young country, Iceland as well. It's still very.
It's literally growing.
It's still very active. Yeah. In terms of its geology and its volcanicity. That's a good word, volcanicity. So yeah, it's still very active in that sort of sense. I mean, we drove through lava fields, drove past active volcanoes, including Eyjafjallajökull, which was the one that went off that caused the big ash cloud a few years ago that grounded all the aircraft and things like that as well. So I'm quite proud of that. It was a good pronunciation, that was Eyjafjallajökull. it's pretty much the only one I can do. So,
yeah, we apologise now in advance for the lack of being able to pronounce.
Yeah, any of the place names that we really struggle to pronounce, which will be most of them, we'll put the place name across the screen so you can read it for yourself.
But I remember the filming out of the window, and I've so much footage that I just didn't use because I was sort of endlessly filming out of the window of the scenery going by, and it was just like, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice,
that's
nice. Something like that.
Yeah. And pretty much everywhere we were driving, we were just like, singing Game of Thrones music to each other as well. So, it was an incredible time, and all three of us really enjoyed it.
So Goldfoss Falls. I mean, I the first day I really struggled to show off the immensity of that place. It was so huge.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but yeah, I really did think it was just to get everything in.
It was. It was spectacular, and the water was moving so rapidly as well. That's what I remember from it. There's so much water volume going through that waterfall. But it's so vast that you can't possibly do the whole thing justice in a single photograph.
No,
I got a wide shot that I'm happy with. That does show a fair amount of it, but as you know, when we were there, mate, it was breathtaking.
We got there pretty early, didn't we? I mean, it's a pretty busy tourist place, but we got there before pretty much anybody else.
Yeah.
But then
we did that though, didn't we?
The light changed, didn't it?
We planned to go to most of the locations. The ones that were going to be tourist places, we planned to get there early. I mean, it helps that sunrise is 9 a.m. at that time of year in Iceland. So although it was an hour's drive sort of thing, and we did that the first day after travelling, flying there sort of thing, it wasn't too bad. The travel wise for that. So, I mean, there was a bit of a snowstorm, but it wasn't anything major at all.
Bob drive, Mr. Sulu.
No, we got used to that in the end, didn't we? I think you're a hardened veteran when it comes to driving through snowstorms now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But no, I mean, the waterfall, it was beautiful. We ended up with a nice black and white photograph from there because it was very overcast, flat light sort of thing. And so we went for kind of minimalist type black and white shot, and as always, the sun started shining really nicely just as we were about to leave, but that was also just at the time that it was really filling up with tourists as well. So we were happy what we got, and then we went over to go and see the geyser.
So where are we, Lee? What is this place?
Michael, I have brought you along to probably one of the most popular tourist destinations in Iceland, as everyone at home will be able to see with the amount of people here at the moment. But I've brought you to this region of geothermic activity. Now, I've called it that because we can't agree on how you pronounce the word.
Well, you just make it sound like some bloke from London.
Geyser.
Yeah.
No.
Which I believe would be the proper way if you were Icelandic.
It's
just right there. I would call it a geyser, but that's because I have a fondness for Americanisms.
No, it's definitely geyser. I think it's geyser.
Geyser.
Yeah.
That old argument.
The great debate. Which one was correct? I'm pretty sure it's geyser.
It's geyser as well.
I'm sticking with geyser. Yeah. But I mean, the thing, remember when we got to the geyser, obviously the light had changed. It become much brighter, wasn't it? It was almost really clear blue skies.
Yeah, it was.
But it almost had that sort of early evening golden hour sort of light to it as well. It was quite warm light. But it's the fact that there was just so many people.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it is a busy tourist place. We struggled, didn't we, to get up to the little rope that stops you from burning to death. But yeah, I mean, when you're, as a landscape photographer for you, when you're going to these incredibly busy places and they're full of tourists, how do you deal with that? What is it? How do you make sure you get something original, or do you just accept it for what it is?
Well, with that place, at the time that we went to it, we just had to accept it for what it was. I really wanted to see it rather than photograph it because that was the first time I've seen something like that for me. I got a photograph, so that's fine. There's people in it. It's a tourist site, so I kind of just accepted it for what it was, to be honest. But more importantly for us, when we went, we wanted something to test out the slow motion capabilities of the cameras. Which you can correct me if I'm wrong or not, but I think it was the S1R does 120 frames a second. So so it's like, what's that, 5 times slow mo, pretty much, something like that. Yeah, and I mean, you got an incredible shot of the geyser kind of bubbling up, and then slowly the bubble rising, and then bursted into the huge plume of water. You know, so it just looked absolutely incredible. You know.
Yeah, no, it was a good first day, wasn't it? And it was a great way of sort of easing into it.
Yeah, it was.
Because and it's not the most longest flight in the world, is it?
No.
But any travelling.
Yeah, I mean, 3 hours from London. It was 3 hours from London. It's not the flight that's the hard part. It was, for me, it was a 3 hour drive down as well, and then all the way around in the airport and all that sort of stuff. And then it was a couple of hours for our accommodation. Actually, the driving in Iceland was easy. On the main roads, it's really nice and easy on the main road. So, you know, it was once you remember to keep left, and your mate doesn't have to keep telling you to go on the right, even, not the left.
Yeah, that was the problem. That was the problem.
Thankfully, I didn't do it on the main roads. It was like coming in and out of car parks. So.
Yeah, coming in and out of car parks, or joining that one road. I remember you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
From out of the B&B.
Yeah, pulling out of as well, little kind of estate, as it were, sort of thing. Yeah.
So second day, Skofoss Falls. Another really grey morning, and it was the first time I fell over, and I think we all did at some point.
We did. But yours was. Yours was one of those falls that it was like a proper Top Gear moment though, where me and Mark just looked at you and walked off.
Yeah, I was pretty much lying on my back like a turtle with my rucksack and camera gear on my back, tripod in my hands with the camera on it, and I was lying there flat on my back, and I remember just looking up at you two. You both laughed and then just turned and walked away.
We did. Look, I mean, mate, we saw that the camera was okay, so
yeah.
You know. Well, our camera's fine, let's go.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that is exactly what you said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Camera looks fine, let's keep going. Yeah.
We were when we got there, we were I think either the second or the first car into the car park. You know, we were there nice and early. We had a great shoot that morning as well. Yeah. So. As you say, it was dark. It's cold, overcast sort of thing, but we made the most of it. So the shots that we got there, again, we went black and white again because the location just lends itself to being black and white. We got obviously snow on the ground, black rock as well, so it really does lend itself really well to being photographed black and white that time of year.
I think you used one of the ND stoppers, did you?
I did, yeah. I used the
waterfall down.
Yeah, I used the 6 stop because at that time in the morning there wasn't as much light about still, but it gave me a 30-second exposure at that sort of time in the morning. Which, because by the time I got to do some photography, I'd already done bits of your camera, bits of Mike's camera, which. Mike never ended up using any of my bits of his camera in his video.
And then from there, we headed over to Vic.
Yeah, we did.
You glimpsed on the way a pull-in, didn't you? Which we had to come back to later. But I mean, Vic was that again. It was just a really nice drive, wasn't it? The country, sort of the view changed again because we've been sort of quite flat. Yeah. Flat roads and sort of quite flat open areas, and then to get to Vic you had to go up down sort of through that valley and then up over the hill and drop down, didn't you? And the first thing you see is that white church. It's very iconic shot, that sort of thing. So, which we were going to try and get that, weren't we? But we were down on the beach photographing the sea stacks sort of thing, and there was a big swell on the sea sort of thing, with huge waves. Yeah.
And we were looking at it and we were like, oh god, there's a big storm coming, sort of thing.
Yeah, you could literally see the grey clouds sort of rolling in, couldn't you?
It was immense. Dramatic. Yeah, and your video footage and Mike's video footage actually of me on the beach there was incredible. You know, it looks like I'm a bit closer to the waves than what I am because of the zoom lenses you're using, but when you see the swell behind me, it's incredible.
It's big, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I got
the
and I managed to get a couple of photographs. Stupidly, I tried to do a couple of long exposures that just didn't work. I don't know why I tried them. I knew the camera wouldn't keep still, sort of thing. But I wanted to try it just to see what would happen. But I got some really nice shots of the big waves crashing as well, actually, which look really good. Again, black and white running theme at the moment.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? When the light's against you, you've got that as an option. I mean, that's the thing I find with the video stuff is that, thankfully, I was trying to tell just the story of the trip, so it didn't really matter for me as long as it looked nice. But I mean, that's the one advantage that you had, is that if the light wasn't particularly on it, you could stick it into black and white and still make it look dramatic.
I
remember trying to keep.
That's the thing. I was trying to keep that drama in it, sort of thing, was what I was going for. And I think the shot that I got there, we'll obviously put these shots up on the screen for everybody as well, sort of thing. But the one there with the waves crashing, I really love. In fact, I've actually got it printed out downstairs, sort of thing. So
nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
I remember trying to keep the lens clear. There was a bit of a nightmare because it was just so much spray coming up from the water, and then because of the storm, and then we had to leg it off the beach.
Yeah, we spent a little bit too long on the beach, didn't we?
Yeah, the storm caught up with us, didn't it? We had to.
Yeah, and I was of course going typical photographer, going, one more shot. So by the time I got back to the car, I got the car keys. You two had got a bit wet as well. Thankfully, you managed to keep the camera dry. So I was alright. I was using the weather sealed camera.
Well, I made the decision to start trying to pack the camera up on the beach, didn't I?
Yeah.
And Mike, I don't think Mike had, so I'd sort of got it all on the beach and then legged it, and Mike was sort of trying to keep it under his jacket, and
I mean, thankfully the bag I was using, I was carrying a camera, a lens, and then some filters, so I could literally just take the camera off the tripod and bundle it in the bag as quick as possible.
Chuck it in.
So it was alright. But we got a cracking shot there, and then we went back to went to get some food from that supermarket where everybody instantly spoke to you in Icelandic because they thought you were a local Viking as well. Speaking to me and Mike in English straight away, and then you Viking straight away.
I don't know why they sort of decided that I was a local.
It was
I think it must have been the hat.
Yeah, it must have been the hat. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was the hat. So they were like, that person looks like he falls over on snow. He must be local.
It must be local.
But then we went.
That day? Was it that day? No, it wasn't. Was it? It was the day before that we got the sunset, the first sunset that we got.
Yeah.
With the beach and the lake.
Yes. Yeah. So that day. That was actually the very first day. That was the day we arrived, and we just kind of went out to go and have a look around at stuff.
Was it?
Yeah. Because we went to go and get a bit of shopping, a bit of food.
Yeah.
And we thought that there was a decent location just down the road from us, which it was. It was nice, but we really struggled to find a good looking photograph as well as a good looking area for a video. Yeah. Because it was so up and down, it was almost impossible for you guys to kind of stand on my level, or to get a different, So me and Mike were checking that out, and you were checking. You were having a look on kind of Google Maps and stuff to see what was nearby, and you found that kind of spit of land, sort of thing, which turned out is actually what the main road drove over, sort of thing. But on the one side, we kind of got almost like a lagoony lake, sort of. I'm not sure if it was fresh water or seawater, sort of thing, on that side. But that side was banked by the mountains, so when the sun was setting, it was going to light up the mountains. But then on the other side of the road, there was a black sand beach with ice being washed up on it. And the amazing thing was there was no one there. There was just us.
No, it was just us, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and the lake, you had the amazing sort of the pink light hitting from the clouds and everything, and it was really spectacular, wasn't it?
It was a
all
stunning
the ice
sunset
on the beach and sort of
I think
that was the first time I think I'd seen ice on a beach like that as well.
Yeah, it lasted. How long do you think it lasted? We must have got a good hour and a half, 2 hours out of it, I think.
Yeah, we got loads, didn't we? Because we had a whole section of you chatting on one side of the beach, and then we were able to run across the road and get the sunset on the other, and you managed to get yourself soaked.
Yeah, I did a couple of times. Yeah. I'm glad there was no sound on that, because there was a few choice words to be said. So.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. But
yeah, I remember we were there for that long that Mike had pretty much eaten all of the hot dogs that he'd bought. So
yeah. I remember you and Mike both got wet feet shooting there, and I said, I managed to escape with it. And ever since then, every beach that I've been on filming with you guys, I have got a wet foot. And it's like, I don't know what, I cursed myself by saying, I didn't get a wet foot, because now every time I go near water, I went to film near a river. Yeah, I went and filmed by a small stream, and I got a wet foot the other day. So I need to buy wellies or something.
It's funny, whenever we've done landscape courses in the past and stuff, we go to in the lakes, we go to a big waterfall, and in Snowdonia we go again to a big waterfall and a couple of streams, and I always tell the customers, please be careful, please watch your feet. And then when I'm standing next to the customers, I'm usually the one that ends up with like my feet in the water or something, so
you're attracted to it.
But it's fine. So wear decent boots, you're fine.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? That was the one thing with Iceland. Never really felt cold, because we always managed to. We did thankfully take some decent gear with us to keep warm, and there was a lot of days where we were just stood. Yeah, stood waiting for a bit of light or something like that.
Yeah, so like on the way back from Vic, we pulled into that area that I'd spotted, and again on the way back from Vic, it was travelling down the one, so we'd have the sea would be on the left hand side of the car, and the mountain ranges would have been on the right. So we pulled over, we jumped out, sort of thing. And the light was beautiful, absolutely stunning on the mountains when we got there, wasn't it? It was incredible.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And I think Mike was asleep in the back of the car.
Yeah.
He didn't want to get out, did he? Because he knew that the light was going to go any minute.
Yeah, he made up, because Mike was going to get some drone footage from there, sort of thing. Yeah. He made up an excuse that it was too cold for the drone to fly, so he could have a bit more sleep. Bless him.
But we jumped out, didn't we? And we stood there for about an hour, and then eventually I think Mike came over and thought, well, he came over and joined us.
Yeah, he did about an hour, didn't he, with us? And then and I was like, no, we're staying here because it's incredible. But the sun was going down and going down. And
we were like, any minute it's just going to break through that cloud, and you're going to get it, and it's all going to be worth waiting for. Yeah. Wait until that cloud breaks.
Yeah, and I was so confident it was going to happen, but no.
Yeah, and it didn't happen, did it? But you did get the shot, because we did come back the next day, didn't you?
Yeah. I was so convinced by this place. I was like, we've got to go back, because everywhere you looked, there was mountains, rivers, rock formations. So it was, as a landscape photographer's kind of dream, I could have spent 2 or 3 days just there getting different shots.
Yeah, it was. And the nice thing about that is it was just literally a spot that you found off the side of the road. It wasn't somewhere we'd planned to go to. It wasn't anything that it wasn't like one of the tourist places. It was just a lay-by that you'd spotted, and then on the other side of the road was just this spectacular view.
Yeah, it was.
We were really lucky to have found that. It was one of the best moments.
Yeah, I think.
Of the trip.
Well, we've said this a few times, haven't we? The 2 locations that we didn't plan on going to, that we just found randomly, were our favourites.
They were the ones.
And they were quiet as well. And it wasn't because they were particularly quiet or anything like that. I think it was because it was like the adventure that we'd found them, and we were going to get some unique photographs from there. I say unique, people have probably photographed there and got similar shots, but it was unique to what we'd seen up to that point.
Yeah, exactly. It was our discovery, wasn't it? It was that thing of getting out, finding something new to us, and it was really worth it.
I remember that shot though was tricky, balancing it. I remember that because we were stood in the big shadow, and we were trying to get the detail to come through in the shadow. Yeah, I really struggled filming you because it was so dark for you, and the light was really odd light. I remember it being the camera really struggled to cope with it. If I remember right, I was having to use a polarizer to punch through to get some detail through into the snow on top of the mountains and the cloud.
Yeah.
Because it was so bright. But then I was also using a 3-stop graduated filter as well. So one that's dark on the top, clear on the bottom. So it's like holding sunglasses over the top of your lens.
Just get every air filter possible on there and hope for the best.
But no, it was great, spectacular place. So
yeah, it was really good.
So it's day 2 of filming our podcast. As you can imagine, myself and Tony are both working from home during these kind of trying times, as many of you are. So the reason we were kind of doing the podcast is we've been talking about it for quite a while actually, hadn't we, mate?
Yeah.
You know, making a podcast and so on, and so we thought, you know, why not do it right now? It's a good time for us to try and do it, sort of thing. As you'll notice, my exposure's back to normal. The sort of moved around into the office.
It's been a smooth transition.
I come through the window yesterday. It has. It's been a really smooth transition. You know, I've not tucked my desk up a little bit. No, I mean the picture's different on the screen and everything. You know,
I almost cut.
You know, the wife came back yesterday and she was like, "Oh my god, you've not been filming there, have you? Look at all that stuff in the background." I'm like, yeah, it's a fishing rod. It's fine. So she's put me straight on a few things. Yeah. Moved a couple of bills off the bookcase. So,
I almost had a haircut last night and suddenly remembered.
I know. I was like, shall I have a shave? I was like, I can't have a shave so we can carry on filming. I'll tell you what though, mate, I can't wait to have a shave later. My face is itching like mad. Oh, stop touching your face! God! Following all the NHS guidelines here,
so. Might as well just put your fingers in your mouth.
I know. Oh, mate. But you know, we're making the best of a tough situation.
We're trying to,
and hopefully you guys are. Yeah, hopefully these guys are enjoying watching it and so on. So, so where do we get to? It's so it was last day, really, isn't it? You know, actually, it was Mike's last full day with us.
Mike's last full day.
But then Mike's last full day, and that was the day that we went to Glacier Lagoon and Vestrahorn Mountain. So, shall I try and pronounce the name of the lagoon?
Yeah,
I think it's Jurgaslagen or something like that. Probably not. That's probably completely false. Again, we'll put the name underneath for you. So. Oh no, Tony!
I promise, I'm alright.
I hope that's like laughing because you're coughing because you're laughing at me there. So, yeah. Right. So, Mike's last full day. Yeah. So we went down to Diamond Beach and Vestrahorn and obviously Glacier Lagoon as well. And it was to get to Vestrahorn was a 5-hour drive from where we were staying.
It was a long haul, wasn't it?
It was. Thankfully, it was beautiful. I mean, it was like parts of it were just completely desolate, or what seemed completely desolate. You know, especially when we were going past the lava fields and things as well. It was a spectacular drive. You know, so you found it quite poignant, didn't you? You know, the drive back, the sort of thing. Because on the way down there, you were just kind of like filming everything you possibly could out the windows. Yeah. You know. Filming me panicking about getting to places on time and so on. So, but yeah, what was it for you that made that kind of drive so special, mate?
I think it was just the fact that because the first part of the drive that we always had was always sort of a quite a busy-ish road, and then once we got past Vic.
When you say busy-ish, when you say busy-ish, mate, there was like probably 10 cars.
Yeah, 10 cars, but there was 10 cars, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And then once you get past Vic and a bit further on, you start to see less and less people, less and less houses.
Yeah.
And then it almost reminded me of, you see those desert scenes in sort of Arizona and places in America where you just see that sort of huge, vast flat land and then this big mountain, sort of like tabletop mountain style thing. It was like that, but with snow and just next to nobody around. It was very, very desolate, and it wasn't until we came back that you realised that, because you could then suddenly see all the lights, because it was by this time dark, you could see the lights of different houses, and you realised that actually even through the sort of the really desolate looking places, actually there was still loads of life and loads of people around, and you're probably never that far away from anyone, but you couldn't, in the daytime you just couldn't see the houses because of the snow or the buildings. It was incredible.
Yeah, and like you said, on the way back,
feel like you're on your own.
Yeah, and as you say, on the way back there was just like that odd little twinkle of a light a house like up in the mountains somewhere, sort of thing. So it was pretty incredible. Yeah.
It was really great. But you've got to talk about the car park to the Glacial Lagoon, because I've never ever parked on essentially an ice rink before. That was incredible. And then you've got all these tourists.
The car handled it pretty well.
The car was fine, wasn't it? Yeah, the car handled it better than we did.
I didn't handle it very well.
No, you didn't. That was your incident. And apparently Mike's, but we never got to see it, which was a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I fell over literally one step from the car.
Yeah, you managed almost 2 hours of being next to the Glacial Lagoon and next to the Diamond Beach without incident.
Yeah.
And you got within a footstep of the car and fell over just as you were about to get in.
Yeah, that's also where I got the car stuck when I literally got in the car, didn't we? Picked myself up, got in the car. And then literally drove 6 foot, and it ended up with the 2 front wheels down like a big kind of rivet in the ice.
Yeah,
that's where
we went to get
the car. That local guy came and helped us kind of bounce the front of the car out, sort of thing. So, I mean,
wasn't
luckily
he a bus driver or something?
I think so. I think he was. Yeah, I mean, he just came right over to us, didn't he, and asked us So fair play to him. Because he was.
He helped us out.
Yeah, I think he'd obviously seen it happen quite a few times and was quite used to doing it, getting people out.
Probably a daily occurrence for him,
but thankfully the car was okay as well because it was a rental.
It was. But there was a brilliant moment where we were coming from the car park, which was sort of raised up, and then you had to go down a bank to get to the lagoon itself.
Yeah.
And it was just sheer ice. And I remember getting down to the bottom of the hill, turning round, and I'd had this heart-stopping moment where I was sliding and thought, I'm not going to stop before the water, because I was about a foot away from the water, and I thought, I made it, I'm all right. Turned round to watch you and Mike slowly sliding down the bank.
I know. I was already in hysterics laughing at you, and then I realised that myself that I was going and couldn't stop.
How we didn't hurt ourselves, I don't know. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of decent photographs from there. Nothing spectacular, I don't think. It was an amazing place to go, but the main reason we went there was for Diamond Beach itself. Now, for the guys that don't know, Glacial Lagoon is exactly what it sounds like. It's a massive glacier with huge chunks of ice that break off it, wash out into the lagoon, and then along the kind of river mouth, and then out to sea, and then they get washed up onto like a jet black volcanic beach. And when the light shines through these kind of big blocks of ice, they just look so spectacular, So
it was incredible.
Yeah. So we got some cool
these
shots
blocks
of that.
Of ice are massive, aren't they? They are sort of like size of cars, just drifting very slowly, and it's always continuously moving. You can barely see it, but it's always
But Diamond Beach. I think the shots that we were getting there were, because it was still fairly bright. I was using a 6-stop ND filter, so blocking out 6 stops of light, so I was getting kind of 2 seconds worth of exposure time. And what that was allowing me to do was still get some kind of form to the waves. So when you look at the shot, we've got this really nice chunk of ice, black beach, blue sky, obviously the sea behind, but you can still see you can see it's a longer exposure, but you can see like the form and the roll of the wave still. And I think that works quite nice for me. It's almost like what's the best way to describe it? Like the process of the glacier itself. So you can tell, you can see that things are happening, things are moving, and things are breaking off. So I think that kind of replicates in that image to me, anyway.
Because it's Diamond Beach, I think, is almost a bit of a bad description of what it sounds like. Because with the description of diamonds, you think like they're going to be like these small, pebblish, maybe smaller than that. And what happens is you get these massive chunks coming off the glacier, and they come round and they go under this bridge, and back round, and then they wash up onto the shore. And they're ginormous blocks. I mean, they're not like this. They're huge, aren't they? Some of them are like the size of cars. And then you watch them, and then they basically break up as they go up the beach until you get the smaller chunks at the top. But some of the chunks are, they're ginormous, aren't they? We were shifting round a couple of them, and they were,
we didn't move any, Tony.
No, we didn't move any.
We didn't move one at all to get a perfect photograph.
No, we didn't. We didn't turn it round because it looked nicer the other way at all.
No. But that's, I think, part of what I like. There. Oh, my mum's calling.
Call on hold. I think Lee has basically just stuck me on hold, but he doesn't realise it. So I'm now talking to myself, as Lee is probably talking to himself. So I don't know whether to just keep going until he comes back. Are you there? You're there?
Wait, my mum phoned me. I'm back. Yeah, my mum just called. So it's all on camera, so feel free to leave it in.
I will.
Well, anyway, so what was I saying? So Diamond Beach. I can't stop rubbing my eyes. So Diamond Beach, we were. Yeah, what I was saying. So everywhere you look and every day you go, every hour that you're there, the ice that's on the beach changes. So it's you very rarely see the same photograph. You see the same style of photographs, but you don't see the same photograph from there all the time. That's what I really like about it.
Yeah,
you know, it's again, it's a very touristy place, but it's a place that you can go and get something different to what everybody else has got. Yeah. You know, those chunks of ice are unique. You know, so it's that kind of does it for me.
And the beach is so big, you can easily move away from people to
which we did actually, didn't we? Which we did. We walked a little way down, sort of thing. So it was great. And then from there,
the whole time we were at these places,
on.
Because we had essentially we visited 3 places, didn't we? We visited the lay-by, which we tried to film the day before, where the light just didn't happen. But we got it in the morning. We then raced over to Glacial Lagoon, and I think we had an hour. We were supposed to have an hour there, which probably turned into almost 2 hours. And then we went to Diamond Beach, and again we were supposed to have an hour there, and again I think that probably turned into more time.
It did. I mean, it was so good though, wasn't it? You know, the beach was incredible.
It was absolutely worth it.
Yeah. You guys got some great footage. I got a couple of good photographs that I liked. I mean, part of the time though, I was kind of a little bit in awe of what was happening, you know, around us as well. So
it was moments where you just had to stop for a second and just take it in and then crack on again. But so as you say, then the race was on because we had to get to the last place for sunset, before sunset. And the idea was to get to Vesterhorn, is that the pronunciation? Or something,
that's it,
something like that.
Vesterhorn Mountain, the Game of Thrones mountain that people will recognise, sort of thing. So.
And so the idea was that you had been there, I think, once before, so you kind of knew what you wanted. And the idea was that you were going to have a big lake and then the mountain behind it with the sun dipping behind the mountain, or was where I can't remember where the sun would be in your final shot, but
off the top of my head, it would have been. We were trying to get it so the light was just kissing the top of the mountain, sort of thing.
Right. Got you.
But and it's kind of like a big bay sort of thing. 'Cause it's right on the edge of the coast, sort of thing. So,
and I think it's
a stunning area.
What did we have? It was like an hour and a half drive or a 2 hour drive, and we had like an hour and a half or something like that to do it in. It was always going to be tight.
It was quick. We had to get there quick.
So we didn't hammer it. You stuck to the speed limits because it's hard not to. It's hard not to. And we got through these little towns and past all these points, and then it got to a crossroads, and you were following the sat nav. And the sat nav told us to go left, and you had an inkling that we should go right, but we were just like, we've got to follow the sat nav.
We weren't trying to get to the mountain; we were trying to get to a viewpoint of it, weren't we?
Yeah.
And this left hand turn, I was like, that's not right. We won't be following the coast anymore, sort of thing. But at this point, we had no service on our phones or anything, so we couldn't even use Google Maps or anything like that. So
couldn't check anything.
No, so we just had to follow the sat nav because we thought it was right. Turned out it wasn't. we ended up wasn't on the mountain.
Yeah, on the bottom of it, pretty much, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I was not upset, but I was annoyed with myself because I knew I shouldn't have followed the sat nav at that point.
Yeah,
but
you were a bit gutted, weren't you?
Yeah, and I mean, I could see the disappointment in Mike's face as well, because I think Mike really wanted to get that shot as well.
Yeah,
you know. So you were okay. You were okay.
It's all part of the drama for me.
Yeah. So we had a quick call of nature break, didn't we? Composed ourselves. turned round, and we were kind of once we actually turned around and looked behind ourselves, and we could see what the sun was doing, how it was setting. Clearly, we weren't gonna have time to go and get the shot that we were trying to get. So I think the sun would have just disappeared by that point. It was such a shame as well, because the light that was on the mountain was looking spectacular.
Yeah, the light it was incredible, wasn't it? It was really rich colours.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So we just headed down the side of the mountain a little bit. Excuse me. Headed down the side of the mountain a little bit, and what we could see was where all the meltwater was coming off the mountain. There was like little streams and gullies and so on that had been. They were kind of winding their way through this kind of little bay area. So we decided to use those as a leading line, and have the mountain range that we'd just driven through just look stunning on the right, with the sun going down, and the colour was just it was spectacular.
Yeah,
you know. So we improvised well. We got a good shot.
But you've got to sometimes, haven't you? You can't always plan
Yeah.
these things to go 100% right. So you make the best of a bad situation, and it still looked amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
And yeah, I was just going to say I'm normally quite meticulous when it comes to planning of like landscape shots. So I know where I want to go and stand the day before. Obviously, the conditions might change, so that place might have to, I might have to just kind of move around a little bit and go and improvise, sort of thing. But generally, I know where I want to be the day before, sort of thing, provided the weather's all right and everything. So. Yeah. But yeah, no, we got a good shot. Again, you got some good footage from there, so it worked out in the end.
It did, and I mean the one thing about Iceland is it's not the hardest place to make it look good. You know what I mean? It is just everywhere you turn, you're spoilt for choice a lot of the time. You have to really decide what is the thing that you're going to photograph or take video of, and we were spoilt, really, really, really spoilt.
Yeah, we were. It was. Yeah, the place is just mind blowing. You know, I mean, we might have already said that we were just kind of driving around everywhere singing Game of Thrones music to each other. So, you know, it was. Da 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 incredible place. I mean, then our last day, our last full day there was the day where we dropped Mike back at the airport.
Yeah, Mike had to leave early.
Yeah. So he left the day before us, and we decided to drive. We dropped Mike off at the airport, which is 2 hours away from where we were staying, and then, which by this point, the 2 hour drive was kind of nothing.
That was 2 hour drive was popping up the road, wasn't it? That was nipping out to go to the shops. It was.
Yeah. Well, I worked out that we drove about 2,500 kilometres, something like that. So, which is fine. Yeah. So we dropped Mike off. Then we decided to go up to Kirkjufell Mountain, which is like the big kind of cone-shaped mountain that you see from Iceland. It's a very famous kind of place to go and photograph, sort of thing. You usually see with like a shot of a waterfall in front of it, sort of thing. So, but that was an adventurous drive, wasn't it? That one day as well.
That was the worst drive weather-wise I think we had encountered, wasn't it? Up until that point, we'd had snowstorms and things like that, but they were kind of always okay-ish.
Yeah, and I mean, we had some early morning snowstorms, didn't we? There was like
pretty much every morning we had to drive through one, didn't we? But so to get to Kirkjufell, you had to essentially drive around the coast and then over the top of a mountain, and then drop down to the other side, and there, in a sort of a bay, you had like a fishing town, and then that was where Kirkjufell was. And so as we were going over the mountain, the wind picked up, and then the snow drift started coming across the road, and the car was like proper buffeting, wasn't it? It was it was really rocking. It's getting a bit brown trouser time, isn't it? And I think you went down from sort of, 40 kilometres an hour down to sort of 2 and 4, and it was just like
and we were crawling
along, weren't we?
Yeah. And you were loving it. You were there like filming it, having a laugh, and I was like, please stop, please.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember that well. I remember we pulled over for a minute, didn't we, just to try and get out to take a photograph on our phones, or try and get some video footage on our phones, and it was terrifying. Like, so
barely opened the car door, could we? It was just like incredible. Bit stupid, really. Probably.
It probably was a little bit.
This is going to look great.
Yeah. Gosh.
But we
got down there, and it was actually when we got the other side of the mountain, as quite often the case is in the mountains. The weather was beautiful. It was blue skies. It was it was a little chilly. It was a bit a bit further north sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the weather was fine when we were there.
It was, wasn't it? It was like we almost crested the top of the mountain and started to come down, and instantly the wind stopped. Instantly the snow stopped.
Yeah.
It was just like a totally different place. And we got there, and there was really nice light on the mountain, and it is, as Lee said, it is this incredible shaped mountain. So we grabbed the kit, we got out, and I wanted to do a final piece to camera with Lee to just sort of wrap up what we'd done.
Yeah.
So we set up and we film it, and I think we take like 2 takes maybe to get it done.
I mean the rest of the week I've been like doing 10 takes for everything because I'm not used to talking to the camera sort of thing. And
no, it was the first time you'd filmed, and it was the first time that I'd worked with you, wasn't it? So we had to.
Yeah, I mean, because ordinarily when I'd done filming for the landscape breaks that we did on Isle of Skye, Lake District, and all that sort of stuff, we'd taken Vicky along because she's so natural talking to the camera.
Yeah.
And I was obviously there to go and check out all the locations, make sure we can photograph the customers around there, and make sure their health and safety is all good and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously that's another opportunity for me to, as I say, make sure the locations are good for photography, basically, for the customers. So for me to go and then do the talk to the camera sort of thing, it took a bit of
threw you in the deep end, really, didn't we?
Yeah, you did.
But you nailed it.
Yeah.
But we got the pieces to camera, and we were again surrounded by some tourists because it's obviously a popular place to come to.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the tourists. That's fine because I was going to go for long exposures. So if they were moving around, they'd disappear, and anyone that was left, I could just Photoshop out quickly. Yeah. But what happened, Tony?
The light went, didn't it?
Yeah. Whose fault is it, Tony?
It's probably my fault.
I mean, because literally I was like, no, just give me like 30 seconds to take a photo, and you were like, no, let's just get this done. so no, 30 seconds to take a photo, and like, you were like, no.
But what would have been worse if the light had been bad when I did my shot, or for your shot? Really?
Oh yeah, you mean because when I was stood in the shadow anyway? So.
No, it was it was a planned shadow.
My favourite bit from that was like when I was kind of sitting down actually taking a photograph, which I've never processed because I looked at it and was like, it doesn't work because there was no light sort of thing. So, but I realised that I was singing to myself about how much I hate you because you made me miss the light. And then there was like a couple of tourists stood next to me that could clearly hear me singing to myself. I thought I was like bonkers or something.
Yeah, there were like five people, Spanish tourists stood behind you, and you were like, I hate you, Tony. I hate you for making me miss really loudly.
Oh mate, yeah, it was brilliant. So, but
because at the time I was a bit further away from you, still filming you, and they couldn't see me. So they thought you were just absolutely bonkers because I was listening to you on the radio mic, but they did amuse.
So that's the dangers of being filmed when you're not used to being filmed. You forget you've got the microphone turned on.
Yeah. So. You just have to go with it and accept that you look a bit daft. But but it was a great trip. It was such a special place to go to.
It was. I can't wait to go back again. To be honest, So, when all this is cleared up, or I'm sure we'll be out there again, mate. And I'm sure that people watching this would love to go as well. And
if anybody gets the chance,
we'll all get there again one day. It's not. Yeah. And so we what was your favourite bit of the whole thing?
My favourite bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, really. I think for me, some of the biggest memories I have are probably the driving, to be honest. It's those moments where we were sat in the car, just chatting and, because we
having a laugh together.
As we've said, we'd never worked together before this point, so getting to know each other was quite fun. And Mike just sat in the back listening to his audiobook for 5 days.
Oh, bless him.
And he would unplug because he felt car sick, didn't he? And that was the way of coping. To listen to his audiobooks. But it's
every now and again we just hear like a even every now and again we just hear like a Scottish guy in the back just shout something really loud, so.
And I tell you what, my favourite thing was the cinnamon rolls. Do you remember that? Yes, I do. They kept that, mate. They kept us going. They kept us going. What was the name? Well, let's not try and pronounce the name. It was, some kind of Icelandic cinnamon roll. But it was like a cinnamon roll biscuit thing, wasn't it? It was like a soft biscuit. And it was the most amazing thing. We'd just buy them in a plastic bag from the convenience store. And
there's about 20 in a bag, wasn't there?
20 in a bag, and that would last us probably like 2 days. Between
I don't know, mate. I think we went through maybe 5 bags for the trip.
Yeah, we bought.
Yeah,
I bought some home. Put some in
the best thing was though, well, the place we bought them from was a 2 hour drive away again.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Well, everywhere was a 2 hour drive, wasn't it? For some reason.
My favourite bit was the final night KFC that we had.
Oh yeah, your little treat to yourself. Yeah, you were just like,
because we were everywhere, every little town that we drove through, there seemed to be like a KFC there. So we were just let's just go. But it was however many thousand Icelandic krona for like what is essentially like a small bucket in the UK, which would cost like maybe £9. It was worked out to be about £30. A couple of pieces of chicken each. And but no, it was great. We had such a good time. The thing that makes me laugh every time I watch the video back is, it's like Mike's cinematic one, is the drone shot of the car driving down the road.
Yeah.
That lasts for about 2 seconds in the video, but you guys made me do about 9 times up and down.
I didn't make you do anything. Mike was fully in charge of that. He was the one that sent you up down the road 4 or 5 times. And it was the turning point for you was like 2 miles away as well, wasn't it?
It was.
so far away. But yeah, so that was our Iceland trip. Obviously, this is our first podcast, and we've kind of been forced to do it because of what is happening globally. And we would have ideally loved to have done this sat together, possibly with more people, but we're having to work from home. We're having to try and protect ourselves, our families, and obviously the members of the public. But we will do these again if you like them. Please do leave a comment. And
I think it might be nice to get sort of Pete involved as well, mate, and he can talk about his motorsport photography. It'd be a really good one. Vicky with her underwater stuff. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it might be nice to get to try and get Ian involved with one as well, because he's just such a good sort of talker and such an inspirational person. I think the guys at home would probably get a lot from watching Ian on a podcast as well.
I think they would probably far more enjoy listening to you guys talk about things than listen and watch me ramble.
We need you, mate. You're the tech guru, so we need you involved as well. So
we will try and evolve these, and we will try and make them better, and try and make them look more professional. They probably won't.
We'll try our best at home. So.
But however you've been watching, if there are things that you'd like us to talk about or listen to us chatting about, please do leave comments in our social networking, so Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram. And if you've got any comments also and you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, subscribe, and to hit that bell icon. Bell
icon. Bell really, icon is what he's trying to say.
No, I couldn't understand yet.
All this time. Yeah.
I've been mocking people because they can't get that right. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay up to date with all notifications. And it normally takes everybody at least 5 or 6 attempts to get that out.
You did two. I mean, technically, it was one because I had a camera mishap, so we've just had to make him to that bit again.
We've had to do this little bit again.
Brilliant.
The first one was as slick as you like. Yeah.
Wicked. I think that's a really good place to sign off there, mate. So let's say goodbye to everybody. Thank you very much for watching, guys. please, you know, anything we can do to support you, you know, content-wise or anything. Any questions you've got shooting photography at home, getting the kids involved, you know, there's lots we can do with kids, getting them to use their cameras, phones, tablets. So give us a shout.
Yeah. And stay safe, everybody, and thanks for spending some time with me.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
And we'll see you again soon.
No worries, take care. Thanks, mate. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.